I'm back with another palette try-on today. I ordered the 2 new quads from the Nomad Cosmetics line. These are the 2 new California quads that they came out with. They are adorable. First of all, they are very sweet and kind on their Instagram, and they've always been very kind to me on my Instagram. I paid for all of this myself, so this collection does come in this beautiful, shiny, sort of light pinky gold, blind you packaging. Beautiful as always. And then you get the little card from Nomad. This is Felicia and Auntie on the back, the owners, and then there's some of their products. Here I own most of these. I think I own all 3. No, that's a lie. I own 2 of these. I own the Antilles and I own the Tokyo palette. But I do have one of the colors from the Sydney palette, so it's almost like I own half of those. Then this is the little postcard that's specific to the collection. It is Nomad and California. It's a surfer-based pastel-y collection. So my vibe, so cute. And then they come in these little boxes that are done so well. The artwork, and then the little surfboard on here is actually textured. And you can see one is Nomad times Encinitas with the blue and pink theme going on, and then the other one is Nomad times Malibu. And then on the back you can see the inspiration is Surf Shack inspired with the colors. The ingredients are on the side here, and then the palettes themselves, which I've already taken out, are adorable. They're just so cute. Each one comes with a mirror. This is the Nomad times Encinitas quad. On the back it says Encinitas Surf Shack. And then these are, I believe, supposed to be infused with CBD. They do list cannabis sativa seed oil in the ingredients. I'm not really sure what the difference is from hemp seed oil to cannabis to CBD oil. This little surfboard right here is textured, and then the rest is just this really pretty print with the Nomad logo on it. There's a little mirror in here, so cute, so pretty. And then this is the quad right here. And I've already dipped into it. So we have a matte bluish turquoise, we have a matte pink, we have a matte light brown, and then we have a matte dark brown. So beautiful. These complement the other palettes so well. And I'm really excited to have a little matte quad. They seem to be the same quality as the other Nomad Cosmetics shadows that I have used in their palettes. So there's a bit of kick up, but they are pigmented. I can't say anything about wear time yet because that's the first time I've used them. And then we have Nomad times Malibu. Again, you have the textured surfboard and this beautiful green and white and pink packaging. It says on the back, Malibu Surf Shack. And then again, you have the little mirror in here. And then you have 4 colors again. It's a quad. What I meant to say was you have 3 mattes in here and the only shimmer in this collection, which is right up here. So you have this color Cabana, which is the only shimmer. I have that in my inner corner. It's not super shimmery. I mean, this could be throwing me off a little bit, but you have this beautiful green right here, this sort of sage green. And then I feel like these browns here are more sage tinted. So you've got more of like this dark brown, which has a little bit of olive in it. And then you have a little bit of like sagey colored in the lighter color up here. Again, I could just be being thrown off by the packaging and by the green in there, but it does seem to have a lot, not a lot different, but a different tone than the other 2 browns in this palette. So I think when you look at them, this one looks more cool and this one looks more warm, but there's definitely a different tone to them. However, they do seem to work really well together. I have used both quads on my eyes, not every single shade. I have used mostly the Encinitas quad and a few of the Malibu shades, but I wanted to do a little bit of swatching and a little bit of comparison to other palettes. So I'm going to take my comfy little sweater off and do some arm swatches. So because I love blue, I am going to start with Encinitas and just do some swatches of the quad here. I'm going to start with the color Chase, which is the turquoise, and these are very smooth. So that is Chase, one swipe, the matte. And I'm going to take the pink one. This one is called Carve. Again, very soft. You can see it doesn't show up incredibly well on my skin because I am very, very fair, but you can see right there. And then we have the lighter shade right here called Hang. Very, very light. And then we have the darker shade right here called Chill. That's a nice one swipe swatch. I just use a Kleenex to wipe off my fingers so there is just a little bit of residue on there because I'm not using anything wet to clean these off, but I am going to go into the Malibu quad right here, and I'm going to start with this color called Bungalow, the pretty jade green. Oh god, these are so soft and oh, so nice. There is try another swipe. There's Bungalow. That does build up a little bit, and I am very, very, very pale. And again, the camera light is different from what I'm seeing here, so. But it is very light. It's what I have on the inner part of my eye today. And then I'm gonna go into, let's see, I'm gonna go into Shack right here. And I'll put that next to the other dark shades so you can see the difference. I kind of got it over the green a bit, but you can see the little bit of difference in tone there. And this is, I'm just gonna try another swipe because I'm gonna build that up a little bit. You can see the difference between the two darkest shades in each palette. And then I'm gonna go into Hideout, which is the lighter brown shade, and I'm gonna put that next to the lighter shade in the Encinitas palette. You can see it's these two shades right here. And then I'm going to take the only shimmer in the entire collection. I keep saying that. This is called Cabana. You can see not a lot of like color, but it is very shiny. But a kind of like, not a see me from space shine, just a nice blends in, gives you a little bit of illumination shine. So if you're interested in how these compare, at least in size, to some of the other products that they have in their line, I have one of the highlighters right here. This is the Sydney Bathers highlighter in Balmoral Beach. This is versus the quad right here. These also have a mirror in them. Same packaging. So you can see the difference between the quad and the highlighter. And then these are normal Nomad Cosmetics size. So this is the Lago di Como palette. I think these shades are a little bit bigger than what's in their in their larger palettes, but you can see, I think they're the same. Try not to blind you. I think they're the same. It might just be the gold around them that's making them look a little bit bigger. But you can see the quad compared to the 9-pan palette. And then I have 3 of their 15-pan palettes here. This is the Tokyo palette. And this is that compared. So I think they are, let's see my camera. I think they are a little bit larger in the smaller palettes than they are in the 15-pan. So it looks like they're about the same size as the 9-pan palettes, which are a little bit bigger than the ones in the 15-pan palettes. But it could also just be the spacing, but I think they look a little bit bigger. So I am going to do some comparison swatches with other Nomad palettes. Specifically, I love the blues that they do, so I'm going to start with the blues in some of their palettes. So let's start with, again, we'll start with Chase right here. I think I'm just going to do it on the back of my arm instead of trying to twist my arm around. And again, we're just going to start with Chase from the Encinitas palette. So you can see what that looks like. One swipe. And then I am going to go into the Lago di Como palette, which is their blue and green and yellow palette. And then probably the one that's most relevant is Aquarama. And you can see right there just the difference in tone already. So you can see this is more blue, this is more, a little bit more green, turquoisey. Just like a little bit more subtle, darker shade than Aquarama. For the heck of it, we'll just do Sposato. And this is, Aquarama is a matte, Sposato is more of a shimmer. And you can see that definitely right there. And then I'm not even going to bother with Bella Figura and Mozzo Fiato. These are clearly much, much darker, and they are both, this is a dark matte and this is a shimmery blue. So I'm not going to bother swatching that. Then I'm going to go into the original palette that made me fall in love with the brand. This is the Antilles palette with all of these beautiful blues in here. Some of them, most of them are shimmers. There's this beautiful, this is my favorite shade that they've made. This is called the Baths. Of course, it's upside down. It's this beautiful, like, 1970s powder blue that I just absolutely adore. So I'm going to swatch that up here. You can see the difference between all the different matte blues. This is definitely more of a blue. And then most of these have a bit of shimmer in them. This palette is very well loved. So I am going to try Grace Bay, which is not a shimmer, but not exactly a matte. It is more of a satin. And I'm going to swatch that, let's see, I'm going to swatch that next to Aquarama. You can see kind of similar, but definitely different from the Encinitas color and definitely different from the Baths color. And then we have two straight up satiny shimmers. This Blue Lagoon is a straight up like turquoisey shimmer. Right there. And then we have Glistening Waters, which is sort of the in-between right there. So these are all the blues that I have from Nomad. And they are absolutely stunning, each and every one of them. I do tend to like the mattes a lot though. So now we're going to go into the Malibu quad and we're going to swatch the beautiful sage green color. This is again called Bungalow. And I'm just going to swatch that on this arm. See, it's very, very light. Just see it on my arm there. So I am going to build this up a little bit just so you can kind of see it, but I don't think it's meant to be a super pigmented green. I think it's just supposed to be subtle and very just relaxed, not a pop of color, just a nice complementing color to the browns in the palette and to the shimmer. Now the other greens that I have from Nomad that would be the most similar maybe would be Kakegori from the Tokyo palette, although this is much more blue and I think much more pigmented. You can see the difference right there. There's Kakegori, and then we have, just for funsies, we'll do Now Is Forever. This is a whoa, that is a satiny shade. You can see these are very different tones. So this is more of a yellow, sage green. These are more like, you know, bright pastel-y, sort of bluey colors. And then we have, well, I think the most obvious one would be from the Berlin palette, and this is the green in here. This is a satiny green, and as you can see, this is really very, very different. It is more of a grungy green, however, so it may complement. Let's put it up here. It may complement that a little bit more. Let's see the right there versus that. These are more complementary to each other, I think. And there aren't really any other greens in this palette, but it might go well with some of the grungy shimmers in here. I love the grungy shimmers in here. They're so beautiful. And then, of course, we have the Lago di Como palette. So you've got this row of, I mean, it's ostensibly a row of greens, but I consider this a blue, more turquoise. Then you've got this deep matte green right here. I think this and Aquarama are really, well, I think this sort of diagonal line right here are the true mattes in this palette. And I think even Aquarama could have a little bit of a satiny to it, but this is La Dolce Vita. And you can see that is brighter green, not as dirty as the one from the Underground palette, and certainly a lot deeper than this one. And then I'm really not going to bother with Paparazzo. That's just a straight up shimmery, beautiful jewel tone color, but it is very, very pretty. And I love the colors in that palette. They are so rich and so shiny. And they have a lot of comparable shades to the Menagerie Cosmetics Whale Song palette, which is also beautiful, but will stain your hands. It's difficult for me to say if there's not really anything to compare the matte browns to. If you look at these shades, these are not browns. This is a light gray and this is a dark gray. So, I mean, there's not really anything to compare them to. This is a satiny pinky shade, which this is a matte. I mean, they might complement each other, but this one's going to have a very different look on the eye. And as you can see, it is much paler pink. This one is shinier. This one's a bit deeper pink, fairer pink than the shimmer in here. There just really aren't any mattes that are comparable to the other collections if you look in here. So there's no brown mattes in here. And this may look like a brown matte, but it's actually like a shimmery, it's like a shimmery brown, or at least a satiny brown. And it's much too warm toned to be comparable to either of these, I think. You can see the difference right there. And there. There's just nothing to compare it to. There's nothing in Lago di Como. Disco Volante is a duochrome, so that's not going to be comparable. And then Berlin Underground, there are some deeper bronzy tones, but these are all shimmers. These are all shimmers. None of these are mattes. The only matte in here is Oranienstrasse, and that is an orangey brownish. And I don't see any of them in here that are that rusty color. So it is nice because these mattes in here are a wonderful complement to the rest of the Nomad collection. I don't have the Marrakesh palette, so I don't recall if I know there's a lot of warm toned colors in there, but I don't remember how many browns there are. Let me look at the back of I think it's on here somewhere. So there are, I don't know if these are shimmers or mattes or whatever. There are warm tone colors in the Marrakesh palette, but again, I don't have that to compare with them. And then they do some mattes and some shimmers in their bronzer palette here. I haven't tried those. And there is the Tuscany palette, which could also be comparable. I don't have any of those, and these are very warm toned also. I only have the Lago di Como 9 pan, so I can't compare them to the other browns that they might have. I just don't have them. But in my Nomad collection, I don't have anything like these. Let me do some pink just for funsies. So I'm gonna swatch this guy, this shiny one right here. The only shimmer from the palette. I'm just gonna put that on my hand right there. You can see that, and then we'll compare it to the pink right there, so you can see the different, there's rosy tone, there is a brighter tone, and then there's just, again, there's just nothing in here that's gonna be comparable to these. I'll show you Kreuzberg just for funsies. This is a green toned white duochrome. So it's gonna have a very different look, more frosty than this one. Lago di Como has these more buttery tones. For the mattes, there's just no. Antilles has these yellow, bright yellow and champagne shades. No. Check out Hanami. This is a satiny pinky shade, and I'll just compare that, sorry, to, what was this called? Cabana on the top there. Room to swatch on my scaly hands. So you can see there's a difference in tone. This is just like right across my knuckles. But this one is more yellow, this one's more pink. Although these shimmer shades, these duochrome shades on the bottom are beautiful. So beautiful. So these are the swatches. You can see my blues and greens, my favorite colors, and then you get your complementary highlighting shades right there, setting shades, whatever. I really do really like this brand. I actually have two of their highlighters. I have this one, and I also have the Midnight Sun one, which I think would have also gone really well with this look. And it's just a really beautiful, cute collection. I like the look that I got on it. It just feels very laid back but colorful. That is what I like. I am probably getting eyeshadow all over my pants right now. Okay, so I have primed my eyes, my face. I started with the Hello Fab Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer, one of my favorites. Then I did use the Anastasia Dip Brow Gel in Caramel, and I did my eyes with the Anastasia Eye Primer because it is a very, very stark primer and I want the colors to really show up. And then I set it all with the Jouer Soft Focus Hydrate and Set powder in Fair. My eyes are not a 20-year-old's eyelids. They do have creases and they do, you know, they do look not perfect. So I am going to wear pretty bright colors anyway, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with the color Hang in the crease. And I'm going to take a Sephora fluffy crease brush and just go into that. This is a really beautiful, good quality mirror. Of course, there's no powder or anything on it yet, so, but I really tend to like the mirrors in these palettes. And it's nice that a little quad like this does have a mirror. So that's just deepened up the crease a bit, not a whole ton, but I do like how kind of natural it looks on my eyes. It just kind of blends in just a little bit, making the skin darker without making a huge shadow in my crease, so that's nice. A Sigma, a small taper blending brush. I always use this one on the outer V of my eye. This one is called Chill, if I didn't say that before. And I'm just gonna I'm just gonna darken up the outer V, just to give the eye a little bit of sculpting. So that is the outer V darkened up. I'm just going to go in with the crease brush again and blend it in a little bit. Bit of kick up, not a ton, but I have been dusting it off. It's not unlike other Nomad Cosmetics formulas or palettes that I've had in the past. I just brush it off and continue going. I always do my eye makeup first anyway, so it's pretty easy to clean up as long as you're not working with too colorful or sparkly of a formula. Next thing I'm gonna do is go into the color Chase. This is the matte turquoise blue in this collection. This is a Sigma E25, and I'm just gonna put that on the center to the outer part of the lid. And that is beautiful. Right away, I'm getting pigmentation. So pretty, so pretty. This one feels less kick-uppy. Kick-uppy? Feels like there's less kick-up on this one. And I'm not seeing any fallout, which is nice. Am I? Maybe a little bit. I'm gonna go into the Malibu palette, the little Malibu quad, and I'm gonna go into this sage green color called Bungalow, and I'm gonna put that on the inner part of the lid. And I'm gonna use just this little e.l.f. brush. I think this is just like a mini crease kind of brush, detail brush, just to see how the two palettes play together. And I love greens and blues together. And I love that kind of like sea glass look. At least over this primer, these just seem to blend super nicely together. And they look like they complement each other. Look, I'm not an expert in color theory. I just like what I like, but I can only judge on, you know, what I'm seeing right here. I don't necessarily care about what looks good on camera. Why am I on YouTube? I don't know. It's called Cabana. Right here, you can see it. It's like a little pearl pink gold shift. And I'm gonna go with a little elf brush right here. Right on the little surfboard. That on the inner corner. It's more of a subtle shimmer. It's very subtle, very soft. But I can see it hitting the light, and it's not disrupting what's going on with the rest of the look. I think I'm gonna go under the lid a little bit with some of this pink shade. This is called Carve, and see if that actually does anything. I don't know that it will. I'm just gonna use this little crease brush right here. Probably should have put some of the primer under the lid, but you know, I don't want to look too dry, so. So it's not super like contrasty with my skin. Again, this is probably not the best brush to do an under eye with. I just kind of want something a little bit more colorful under the eyes. I always do that. I always stick myself in the eye with a brush, and then my eye waters for the rest of the day. And then this look, which looked really good for 5 minutes, just is completely destroyed by my eyes watering for the rest of the day. All right. I think it looks pretty. It's not like the most glam look I've ever done, but it is laid back and pretty and colorful. So I'm going to put on some mascara and some face products, and then I will be back. Okay, so this is the finished look. I now have my big comfy Madewell sweater on, and I have the rest of my face. I used the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk Nourishing Foundation in 520 Fair. Over that, I used the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in Fair Beige. The first time I'm using this. Very, very, very light. And like, I mean in a brightening way. Then I also put everything on with the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. On my cheeks, I am wearing 2 depotted shades from the Casey Holmes Thames Physicians Formula Butter Palette. This is the bronzer, I believe it's in Deep, and then this is the blush, the shimmery blush in Copacabana. Absolutely adore this blush. On top of that, I am wearing the Nomad times Sydney Bathers. This is the highlighter in Balmoral Beach. That is the glow on the cheeks and the nose and the chin. On my lips, I am wearing Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk lip liner. And on top of that, I am wearing the No. 7 High Shine lip gloss in Pink Latte. It seems like a nice, chill, like sandy, beachy California vibe. It is not a California vibe outside right now. We are in the middle of a blizzard. Go February in Wisconsin. Now I have hooded lids, so things ultimately end up transferring up here, and I do have dry eyes right now, and I'm wearing a very drying eye primer so that the colors stick out. So when I look it up really up close, it's like, it's not the perfect blend. I was never gonna get that anyway. But I am loving the combination of the colors. I'm just loving the chill laid backness of it. I love blue shadow. I don't care what anybody says. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the look that I did. I hope you enjoyed the swatches and comparisons that I did. The story behind each palette, each shade has a story. Each palette has a story. And I just love that. I love that. And then each one has some sort of like ingredient in it. So these are supposed to have CBD oil in it. These are supposed to have, I think, camellia oil in them. These ones are supposed to have hemp seed oil in them. Each one is supposed to have an ingredient that sort of complements the theme. And I rave about this brand. Again, they have been very nice to me on Instagram. I am not an influencer, and I like what they're doing, and I want to support them. Again, I hope you just enjoyed this little dive into Nomad Cosmetics and this little look that I did and the swatches that I did. Let me know down below what you think about this brand, if you have anything from this brand, or if you have anything comparable. And I love supporting indies. It's really fun for me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So thank you so much for watching. I need to stop talking. Oh no, I need to stop talking. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.